Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, President Tinubu dispatches a delegation to Niger to resolve political impasse as many warn against military action. Ganduje emerges national chairman, Basiru elected national secretary. 2 Catholic priests kidnapped in Tafa local government area of Niger State. And on the foreign scene, UN says more than 6 million people one step away from famine in Sudan. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. We begin with news from the West African sub-region. The chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Tinubu, has dispatched a delegation to Niger Republic with a mandate to expeditiously resolve the current political impasse in the country. The president has also sent a separate delegation led by Ambassador Babagana Kingibe to engage with the leaders of Libya and Algeria on the Niger crisis. The dispatch of the 2 delegations is in line with the resolution reached at the end of the extraordinary summit of the ECOWAS held last weekend in Abuja. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The delegation to Niger, headed by former Nigerian head of state, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, left for Niamey on Thursday, following a briefing by President Tinubu at State House Abuja. Also on the delegation is the Sultan of Sokoto Saad Abubakar III and the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Umar Aliu Touré. Briefing the 2 delegations, President Tinubu charged them to engage all stakeholders robustly with a view to ensuring a conclusive and amicable resolution of the situation in Niger for the purposes of African peace and development. Leaders of the 2 delegations have a clear-cut idea of what is expected of them.
Well, we are just being given our marching orders to go to Niger and convey the feelings of our heads of states in the ECOWAS region that they are not happy with what has happened, and they gave them an ultimatum that the coup peace should desist from what they are doing and give back power to an elected president. And again, to make sure that this message is sent loud and clear to them.
Of course, this kind of situation requires solidarity. It requires coordination with all parties that could bring that are relevant to the situation. In that regard, as you know, Libya and Algeria are also very important neighbors of Niger. So my mission is to go there with a message from President Tinubu to brief them on the ECOWAS position and solicit their solidarity and cooperation.
But what do they feel about the decisions taken so far by ECOWAS?
Well, so far, we are going there to see and convey this message to them, and then we'll listen to them. And then we come back and report back.
They are not meant to be punitive. They are meant to really encourage the Niger authorities to rethink their position and retrace their steps. And they are escalating, sort of degree by degree, hoping always to find diplomatic solution. And that is the commitment of the ECOWAS heads of state. And that's why all these diplomatic activities are being redoubled apace.
ECOWAS had last week slammed heavy sanctions on Niger, including the closure of all borders, the suspension of trade, diplomacy and financial services to the country, as well as the declaration of a no-fly zone. Deployment of force is being kept as a last resort. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Also, the 5th Wazir in Katsina, Sani Abubakar Luga, has expressed worry over the growing concerns in Niger Republic since last week's military coup. In an exclusive interview with Trust TV in Katsina, the Waziri suggested more consultations, dialogue and diplomacy in resolving Niger's crisis other than military intervention. Abdullahi Yamadi has details.
The professor of management studies says military action against Niger Republic will further compound the socio-economic and security challenges confronting Nigeria, especially the northwest region.
When you want to restore a civilian administration, I think it should be done in a civilian way, not in a military way. First of all, we should avoid war. We should use diplomacy as much as possible. Modern history has shown that after every war, there is always dialogue at the end. Secondly, in the event of war, it will only be Nigeria versus Niger Republic, because all the neighbors of Niger Republic, out of all of the neighbors, is only Nigeria that has accepted to go into war.
He noted that Nigeria's long-existing relationship with Niger Republic and the support the military junta is enjoying from other neighboring African countries calls for a rethink by ECOWAS countries, especially Nigeria. The professor, however, faulted ECOWAS' decision of cutting off electricity to Niger Republic, which he said is against the international convention signed decades ago.
Cutting the power supply from Nigeria to Niger is a declaration of war under the 1963-64 agreement between Nigeria and Niger Republic before Kainji Dam was built, which means the people and the government of Niger now can seek for reparation under international law against Nigeria. Secondly, they can decide to build their own dam, because we have now reneged on the agreement. If they build their dam, Kainji is in danger. All the irrigation projects from Sokoto, Kebbi, Kainji, Jeba, up to Lokoja are in danger.
Stakeholders, including the Fifth Wazirin Katsina, are advocating the involvement of political actors and respected traditional rulers, especially from northern Nigeria, to dialogue with the Niger junta leaders for restoration of civil administration to prevent bloodletting.
I believe that His Eminence the Sheikh of Borno, His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto, and the governors have links. As I said, we are brothers and sisters. Nearly everyone in these frontline states has a brother or a sister or a cousin or an uncle in Niger Republic, likewise in Niger Republic. So why not use that personal touch to ensure that peace reigns?
Political commentators are also cautioning ECOWAS countries, especially Nigeria, against doing anything that could jeopardize the long-existing relationship between the two countries. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And still on the matter, security experts have called on President Bola Tinubu, who is also the chairman of ECOWAS, to find means of resolving the Niger conflict without necessarily using military force. The experts noted that considering the proximity, cultural and economic relationship Nigeria shares with Niger Republic, it will not augur well for the duo to engage in a war. The report.
The recent coup in Niger Republic has triggered tension, especially among members of the Economic Community of West African State ECOWAS. Although the resolutions of ECOWAS head of state and government on Tuesday in Abuja point to the fact that war looms in the West African region, security experts, however, say going into the war should not be an option in place of dialogue.
Looking at the coup d'etat in Niger Republic, and then whether it has or it will have effect in Nigeria, either Nigeria as a nation or the Nigerian armed forces, considering first the religious relationship between Nigeria and Niger, cultural relationship between Nigeria and Niger Republic, military exchange, understanding and relationship between Nigeria and Niger, political relationship between the government of Nigeria and the government of Niger, I would say that it might not have that effect that people would think it will have.
They also raised concerns on the issue of security, considering the proximity of Nigeria with Niger Republic.
We should take into cognizance there is something tying us to this Niger. We have a very long, large borderline with them, some of which the majority is just porous. So they are looking at us. They know that the country is, this is a situation in the country is known to them, because we have been cooperating as far as the security, you know, all these Boko Haram, insurgency, these bandits and so on and so forth.
Galma noted that using military force will hardly bring Mohamed Bazoum back his seat, and therefore appealed to ECOWAS members to use dialogue.
Because we know, even if anybody shouts it, military regime is also, we agree. It's outdated, it's not wanted, and so on and so forth. But once it took place, the person they removed hardly comes back. It has happened, nothing anybody can do. So what I'm trying to bring out here is all these things I've just finished telling you is because our president is the chairman.
The political tension was triggered on 28 July when General Abdurrahmane Tichani, the head of Nigeria's presidential guard, declared himself head of state after the military seized power from democratically elected President Bazoum. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Still on happenings in Niger, the defense headquarters says the military actions being considered by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is the last option against the coupists who have taken over power in Niger Republic. It also said that the Nigerian armed forces have not been given any order yet to commence military action, adding appropriate actions would be taken after a 2-day extraordinary meeting of West African defense chiefs in Abuja. The Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Chukuru Gusau, made the clarifications at the defense headquarters, Abuja, on Thursday and said the Nigerian military cannot proceed on any operation in any of the member states of ECOWAS. According to him, the mandate to proceed on such mission must come from the authority of the heads of states and governments of the member states of ECOWAS. He said in reaction to the illegal takeover of government in Niger, the ECOWAS heads of government met and a series of options were reached on how to intervene in the crisis. Yusuf Zango is the opinion editor at Daily Trust and also an in-house analyst here at Trust TV, and he joins us to discuss the political developments in Niger. Welcome to the News Hour, Malam Yusuf Zango. So, the president has forwarded two envoys, one to Niger and another to Libya, who would then, proceed to Algeria. So what do you make of the president's approach so far in relations to finding a diplomatic, solution to resolving the political crisis in Niger?
Naturally, that's a good course to take, the normal course to take, because in this circumstance, you don't jump into the extreme options you have. As the defense headquarters said, the military is the last option. So dispatching these two set of envoys, I think, is a good step by the president, so that the diplomatic channel should be put forward and should take a high premium than any other. Even the sanctions should come much later than the diplomatic effort to get the military junta to agree to what the ECOWAS or the ECOWAS heads of state want them to do.
All right, Nigeria restored democratic rule in Sierra Leone in the 90s, but Niger is not Sierra Leone, at this moment, largely to its size and proximity to Nigeria. Now, in your opinion, should the military action be considered as an option? That is, if diplomacy fails.
No, I think this hype about military action, I think, is largely being overblown to me, because in all circumstances you find that history has shown that the military action is not always the best. We have seen that even in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, where the more powerful countries went in, yet they came out with nothing. It's also, we have the example currently with what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Ordinarily, before the war started, many people felt that it was just a walkover for Russia. Yet, here we are, 1 year after, the war was still going on. So I think the military option is being overblown. What should be, I think, put forward, as the president has rightly done now, is to put the diplomatic effort. And he has made the good choice of Abdusalam Abubakar, in saying that he had the experience. You remember the AU, he was part of the AU mission. With Thabo Mbeki, or they resolved the issue between Southern Sudan and Sudan. And even within the internal problem in Southern Sudan, which eventually brought the independence of Southern Sudan.
All right, all eyes are on Nigeria and its President Bola Tinubu to provide some form, of leadership of the ECOWAS community at this point. However, don't you think Nigeria is overstepping, its bound, going by the previous report before this interview, where the 5th Wazir in Katsina was condemning Nigeria's move at cutting electricity supply to Niger and calling it a breach of a 1963 agreement between Nigeria and Niger Republic. Do you think the nation is overstepping?
No, to me, in diplomacy, all options are open. And wherever you can bring in pressure to your opponent to agree to your point of view, I think this cutting off of electricity is temporary. It's just made to show to the Nigerian junta that, look, we are serious about what we intend to do. Secondly is to bring to a pressure. Once the people found that, the local people found that, look, we are going to be subjected to hardship, then they will also withdraw support from the junta. So naturally, I don't see it as any breach or as anything outside the diplomatic or the options put out by ECOWAS heads of state at their meeting on Sunday.
All right, Malu Yusuf Zango, opinion editor at Daily Trust and also in-house analyst here at Trust TV. Thank you so much for your contribution on the News Hour.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to politics here in Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, particularly elected officials, to be steadfastly committed to good governance, which will re-engineer the economic and political landscape of the nation to address the needs of the poor. He spoke on Thursday in Abuja at the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the ruling party, which elected former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman and former Senate spokesman Basiru Ajibola as national secretary. Kehinde Amodu reports.
There were already indications that a former Kano State Governor would emerge national chairman, especially as his name did not make President Tinubu's ministerial list. The president, who addressed the NEC meeting for the first time since election victory in February, emphasized that winning the polls was just the beginning of a longer progressive journey. President Tinubu pledged that his administration would continue to ensure that all government programs benefit and uplift the masses of the country rather than bring more pain.
There's always an opportunity in any adversity if you look at it carefully. But let's redirect this party. Let's show the rest of the country that we are a party united for a purpose.
But aware of the force of opinion in the polity, the president is deliberate about defending the legitimacy of the 2023 elections and threw a dig at naysayers.
This is one of the most free and fair elections in the history of Nigeria. To us, congratulations. And as a Democrat, Those who cannot accept the result of a free and fair election do not deserve the joy of victory.
Former APC acting national chairman, Senator Abubakar Kyari, said the ruling party was conscious of new challenges facing it as the majority party at the subnational level and in the National Assembly. The main agenda of the NEC meeting was to fill vacant offices of national chairman and secretary and appoint new external auditors to audit party accounts.
These offices play a pivotal role in the direction for the party. It is pertinent to note that as enshrined in the constitution of our party, under Article 13, sub 13.3, Roman numeral 2, the NEC has the powers to, quote, discharge all functions of the National Convention in between national conventions.
The president, however, urged the NEC of the party to take a step further by devolving some of its powers to the National Working Committee to fill other vacancies in the party. From the Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Still on the NEC meeting, some newsmen billed to cover the All Progressive Congress National Executive Committee meeting were turned back by overzealous security operatives at the Congress Hall of Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, venue of the meeting. The security operatives also prevented media and personnel aides of governors attending the meeting. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that limited number of journalists with accreditation were, however, allowed by handlers of the high-profile party gathering, with President Bola Tinubu in attendance.
This is the arrival of Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, who also doubles as leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Though it is not unusual to see such tight security arrangement in an event a sitting president is attending, aides to political office holders whispered to this reporter that the tight security regime this time around is unprecedented. The APC high-profile party meeting, which has governors, leadership of the National Assembly, top organ of the party in attendance, is expected to review major happenings such as resignations of its national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and National Secretary Yola Mishere, as well as National Vice Chairman Northwest Salihu Lukman, and agree on emergence of new party leaders. Other appointments are expected to be ratified at the meeting. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Ex-President Muhammadu Buhari has explained why he did not attend the caucus meeting of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja. The National Caucus meeting took place at the Presidential Villa on Wednesday, but the NEC summit will assemble party leaders in Transcorp Hilton on Thursday. Explaining why he was unable to attend the meeting, Buhari, through his spokesman Garba Shehu, said he was unavailable due to commitments he earlier made. He conveyed his apologies, indicating that he is unable to attend due to commitments earlier made. The former president used the opportunity to express his support and commitment to the party, at the same time wishing it a good meeting as the leaders take decisions on issues of importance to the party and the nation. The former vice president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, also apologized for his unavailability at the event, saying he has been committed to many assignments outside the country. And joining me now to discuss some of the issues around the outcomes of the National Executive Council meeting of the All Progressives Congress earlier today, I have Bala Ibrahim. He is the Director of Publicity of the All Progressives Congress. Welcome to News Hour, Mr. Bala Ibrahim. Please walk us through this. The national chairmanship position has now been ceded to former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. You know, one would have expected that since the former chairman who had resigned was from the North Central Zone, one would have expected that the next chairman perhaps comes from that zone. Can you please walk us through what's going on in your party at this moment?
Well, thank you very much for having me here. First, let us go through what happened today at the NEC meeting. As is expected, the NEC has to go through certain procedures if there is anything that is going to be tinkered with, or if there is going to be a change of arrangement. Of course, the zoning arrangement has given the North Central the position of the national chairman. But now that Senator Abdullahi Adamu had resigned on his own volition, the NEC, in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, had to get the approval of all the members to change that zoning arrangement. It was the thing that was done first. The zoning arrangement was changed in such a way that the seat of the national chairmanship is moved to the northwest, where Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje comes from. And that gave Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje the chance to contest, and he won the election. He is now the substantive chairman of the APC from Northwest.
Okay, so prior to the National Executive Council meeting, the caucus meeting of your party, we had seen the resignation of the National Vice Chairman Northwest. I'm talking about Salihu Lukman. Would one now expect some form of compensation, sort of? How does this work, having a national chairman from the Northwest and a vacant position for the National Vice Chairman?
Constitutionally, the NEC, the National Executive Committee, has the powers to delegate the National Working Committee to carry out certain things in between conventions. The NEC is empowered to give directives or to take decisions that will otherwise be taken at the convention. In between conventions, if the need arises, the NEC can so act like the convention. It is in that regards that the NEC today empowered the National Working Committee after the election of the national chairman and the national secretary, says the National Working Committee can go and look into other vacant positions and fill them accordingly as it deems fit. So whatever the National Working Committee is going to do henceforth with regards to the position of Salihu Lukman and others, it is not just Salihu Lukman, there is the National Legal Advisor that has also resigned, and there are other vacant positions that need to be filled. It is now binding on the National Working Committee to get replacement for those positions, and whatever they do is valid because they have been empowered by the NEC.
Okay, so earlier today, during the meeting, the absence of the former president Muhammadu Buhari and his vice Yemi Osinbajo was very visible. So what could have been the reason for this action? I'm asking probably because it could be that he might not have been comfortable with the situation or the condition, if you would like to put it that way, at which the former national chairman and the national secretary left office.
Well, all of them, former President Muhammadu Buhari and former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, have sent apologies. In those apologies, they restated their irrevocable commitment to the cause of the party. They mentioned that they stand committed to the party and they are going to be respectful of whatever decision that is taken by NEC of the party. They said they have other engagements of national importance, and even in the case of Vice President, of international importance, such that they cannot abandon those responsibilities and attend to NEC. And don't forget, this NEC was called at short notice. Probably they have other commitments prior to this, and it will be unbecoming. It will not be respectful of them to cancel those commitments because they may be of grave importance. So they have sent in their apologies with an addendum to say that they stand committed as loyal members of the party, and whatever decisions NEC take, they will abide by it.
Okay, so now when is the National Convention of the party to elect substantive national officers?
Well, that will come. When the time comes, you will get to know. Certainly, we have to get to the river before we think of crossing it. The National Working Committee has been empowered now to look into issues, and if the need arises, if there is the need to call for a national convention, they will not hesitate to do so.
All right, Mr. Bala Ibrahim, Director of Publicity of the All Progressives Congress, thank you so much for joining the News Hour tonight.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi says emergence of former Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje as APC National Chairman will unify the party and enhance his chances of winning future elections. The governor speaks to Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman after the party's 12th National Executive Committee meeting. He dismissed allegations of corruption against the new APC National Chairman as unproven and unsubstantiated.
The choice of the former governor of Kano State, His Excellency, was a very good one. He's a very experienced man. He's a very versatile person. He's somebody who a grassroots politician and somebody who is also has a lot of experience and somebody who has been a governor for 8 years. In fact, people are saying that Ganduje for the last 50 years he has been in administration. So somebody with that kind of experience, I think the president has done a very good job. He has looked for a person that is square peg in a square hole. So he has done a very good choice. And when we went to the neck, it was very smooth at the neck because it's done in accordance with the Constitution. The Constitution of APC provided that the neck will act in the position of convention, national convention. It will act for whatever the same convention is supposed to take. Between the convention, the neck should act. Then maybe it will be rectified at the next convention. So based on that provision of the Constitution, there was a proposal at the NEC to fill some vacancies for the national chairman and the national secretary. There was a nomination, there was a motion seconded, and there was a motion proposed, a motion seconded, and the House agreed to validate those, and it was very smooth and simple and clear.
Into security, 2 priests of St. Luke's Catholic Church, Gedna in Garam Ward of Tafa local government area of Niger State, have been reportedly abducted by gunmen suspected to be bandits. The priests, Father Paul Sanugo and Seminarian Melchior, were kidnapped in the early hours of Thursday, August 3rd, at their residence in Gedna. Residents told Trust TV that the kidnappers shot sporadically into the air for over an hour before they whisked away the 2 priests. The Catholic Bishop of Minna, Martin Igwe Uzoku, in a message to church members said the 2 priests were pastoral workers at St. Luke's Church, Gedna. When contacted, the Niger State Police Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed the incident. He said police tactical teams led by DPO of Tafa Division have been dispatched to the scene. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Why August 1st is Thanksgiving Day in Katsina. This and more when we return. You'll stay. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Now recap of our top stories. President Tinubu dispatches a delegation to Niger to resolve political impasse as many warn against military action. Ganduje emerges national chairman, Basiru elected national secretary. And here's some update. The delegation sent to Niger Republic by President Bola Tinubu have now arrived and have commenced conversation with the military junta. We'll bring you more information on that on subsequent bulletins. And moving on, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has paid a courtesy visit on the former President Muhammadu Buhari at his Daura residence in Katsina State. The First Lady, who was accompanied on the visit by the wife of the Vice President Nana Shettima, said the visit is to check on the former president and to thank him for the fatherly support he gives always. A statement signed by Busola Kukoi, the special advisor on media to the First Lady, said Tinubu prayed for long life, good health and more support from Buhari, not only for the Tinubu administration, but Nigeria as a whole. In his brief remarks after the visit, the former president expressed appreciation, noting that the visit, which was to see how he is settling down to life after public office, was remarkable. Others who were there with the First Ladies were the wife of the Katsina State Governor, Hajia Dikko Rada, and the wife of the Speaker, Katsina State House of Assembly, Nasir Daura, among other APC women chieftains in the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has again failed to open its defense in a petition challenging the election of Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris due to absence of its witnesses. INEC, the first respondents in the case filed by PDP governorship candidate Aminu Bande, has told the tribunal at the weekend that witnesses it intended to call were not ready. Umar Afanda sends this report from Birnin Kebbi.
At the close of the tribunal sitting last Friday, when the counsel to the petitioners, General Amin Bande and PDP, closed presentation of their witnesses against all the four respondents, it was arranged that the respondents, Independent National Electoral Commission, Nasir Idris, the governor, Umar Abubakar, the deputy governor, and the ruling APC, will open a defense on Monday. INEC, being the first respondent on the allegation of rigging in the last 2023 governorship election, was expected to open its defense on Monday, but requested the tribunal to give them additional 3 days, which the tribunal ruled over and gave them Tuesday as against the Monday, which it now also failed, all on the account that they were yet to be ready with their witnesses. Barrister Nura Bello, one of the counsels to the petitioners, has shedded more light on the 2 days sitting of the tribunal.
In the present petition before the Kebbi State Election Petition Tribunal, we have 4 respondents. The respondents are INEC, Nasir Idris, Abubakar Umar Argungu, and APC, which is All Progressive Congress. The first respondent, who is INEC, who is supposed to open their defense yesterday, Monday, applied to the Honorable Tribunal that they could not proceed with their case because there were some documents they are trying to obtain from the Independent National Electoral Commission, of which the documents are not yet handy. And as a result of that, they asked for an application for the tribunal to give them more time for them to procure those documents and tender them before the tribunal, of which the tribunal yesterday, Monday, adjourned and gave them today, which is Tuesday, for them to produce the document and tender them, and also produce with their witnesses if they have any. And after tendering those documents, the learned counsel for the first respondent applied again to the tribunal that the witnesses they intend to call are not available. For that, they are asking for an adjournment to Thursday to enable them procure those witnesses and present them before the tribunal.
All efforts to convince the INEC counsels to speak and shed more light on why they continuously seek for adjournment despite the limited 4 days of their defense failed. From the Kebbi State Governorship Election Tribunal, Omar Afanda, Trust TV.
The Osun State Police Command has arrested suspected members of secret societies in the state. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Kehinde Longe, who disclosed this to newsmen, vowed to rid the state of criminal elements. Hamid Oyegbade files in the report.
Men of Osun State Police Command Anti-Cultism Squad arrested the suspects at different locations in the state. They were arrested for their membership of secret and unlawful societies and for terrorizing innocent people and the state. The suspects, who were arrested in possession of firearms, confessed to the crime.
I belong to Supreme Area Confraternity, and it's our former number one that gave the gun to me based on when we want to hand over his regime.
And I was in area group since 2022. I never steal bike before. It was this guy who went to steal the bike and brought it to me at home. So we went to where he wanted to sell it together.
I just see lights no more than, let me say, 7 months, because I'm a footballer and I'm a student also.
And the gun belonged to a man called Gorilla. It's not from Osun State, it's from Lagos. They brought it from Lagos then.
The police spokesperson advised youth in the state to shun cultism and other criminal tendencies.
We are determined as a command, as a police command, that we are going to rid this command of all these criminal elements.
The State Commissioner of Police assured that the suspects will be charged to court. Amit Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Also, police in Delta State have paraded 8 suspects in connection with armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, kidnapping and car theft. The police public relations officer, Bright Edafe, who briefed the media during the parade, said that one of the suspected kidnappers was gunned down as he tried to escape. He warned that the state command is determined to smoke out criminals from their hideouts anywhere in the state.
On the 29th of July, we recorded the rescue of a particular kidnapped victim who was kidnapped along Japa Road. In the case of this suspect, this syndicate, they usually go on keke. They will pretend like they have caused an accident, hit this particular Lexus vehicle, whereby the driver of the vehicle came down thinking maybe they have badged his car, only for him to come down. These hoodlums came out with a double barrel gun, forcefully kidnapped him and put him inside his own vehicle while they were on their way towards the Efuru Road at Fupre Junction in particular. The patrol team from the Bumede Division, while on stop and search, intercepted them, and these hoodlums came out of the vehicle, one of them bearing firearm. There were about 4 in number and they escaped. So some of the policemen went after them, successfully neutralized the person bearing the firearm. The others escaped, were still on their trail.
The Katsina State government has adopted 1st of August each year as Thanksgiving Day, locally known as Yom Shukr. The day, which was marked with prayers and gratitude to God for his many blessings, also sought Allah's intervention on the prevailing security and economic challenges facing Katsina State. Abdullahi Yamadi reports that former President Muhammadu Buhari used the day to make his second appearance since he left office on the 29th of May. His report.
The choice of the day was informed by historical antecedents of Katsina and Daura Emirates, which were merged to form a famous Katsina province in 1934 during the British colonial rule. Governor Dikko Umar Radda, who personally chaired the maiden prayer session in Katsina, reaffirmed government's commitments to cushioning the hardship facing residents due to fuel subsidy removal. As a government, we are aware of the numerous challenges facing residents. Don't forget, the insecurity and economic challenges occasioned by fuel subsidy removal are not peculiar to this state. This administration will distribute assorted grains and fertilizers to those in dire need to cushion the hardship faced by residents. This will go side by side with other periodic interventions by the government. According to the Imam of Daura, Katsina province has witnessed tremendous achievements since the amalgamation of Katsina and Daura Emirates in 1934. This prayer shows that we have been doing our best as a people, and we have submitted the rest to God for His intervention. The Thanksgiving Day will continue to be observed across Katsina State on the 1st of August each year. I implore every citizen to join us in prayers for solutions to our challenges. Some Katsina residents see this as a remarkable achievement and as an avenue to meet and brainstorm on issues affecting them with a view to providing solutions and committing other challenges to prayers for Allah's intervention. The prayer session was conducted simultaneously in all the 34 local government areas of Katsina State. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is News Hour. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafor for the business news.
GlaxoSmithKline GSK Consumer Nigeria PLC said it plans to cease operations after evaluating the options for moving to third-party distribution model for its pharmaceutical products. The company is well known for its products such as Augmentin, Neosporin, Panadol, Sensodyne, Advair, Ventolin, Theraflu, among others. GSK Nigeria announced the development in a statement sent to the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) on Thursday and signed by company secretary Frederick Ichequia. The company said it is working with its advisors to agree on next steps and plans to submit a scheme of arrangements to the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), which, if approved, will see it return cash to shareholders except its parent company, GSK UK. The company, which employs over 290 people, assured that all necessary legal proceedings will be met as regards employees and shareholders. The Debt Management Office, DMO, on Thursday announced the listing of the federal government 130 billion naira sovereign sukuk on the Nigerian Exchange Group and the FMDQ Securities Exchange. In a statement, the DMO said the Sovereign Sukuk opened for subscription in November 2022 with an initial offer of 100 billion naira. The agency, however, said the Sukuk garnered immense interest from investors with a remarkable subscription level of 165.25 billion naira, which represents over 165% of the amount offered. According to the DMO, in a bid to accommodate the needs of diverse investors who subscribe to the Sukuk, 130 billion naira was allocated. The agency said the total sovereign Sukuk issued from 2017 till date stands at 742.557 billion naira, adding that the proceeds have facilitated the construction and rehabilitation of over 75 roads and bridges across the country. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Wafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for business. And away from Nigeria, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization says over 20.3 million people, representing more than 42% of the population in Sudan, are experiencing high levels of acute food insecurity. The UN sounded the alarm on Wednesday of an impending famine in Sudan, where months of war have hit food supplies and pushed nearly 4 million people to flee the fighting. The fighting has destroyed critical infrastructure, severely hampered agriculture, and blocked the delivery of crucial aid. More than half of the population is facing acute hunger in West Darfur, which has seen most of the worst clashes, including civilians targeted for their ethnicity and mass sexual violence. For months of civilians have been pleading for a reprieve from the ceaseless airstrikes, artillery battles and gunfire that have turned cities, including the capital, into war zones. No humanitarian corridors have materialized despite promises from the warring parties, preventing aid groups from delivering increasingly life-saving assistance. Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Temi Galana scored a last goal winner for Magaya's pass to give South Africa a win over Italy that sent them through to last 16 of the FIFA Women's World Cup. The Italians had opened the scoring when Carabolamini tripped Italy for Kira Beccari in the 10th minute inside the box as Caruso scored the penalty. South Africa equalized in the 32nd minute through an own goal from Benedetta Orsi, who made the wrong pass to goalkeeper Francesca Durante. Bayana will face the Netherlands on Sunday for coming second place in the group behind Sweden. Meanwhile, debutants Morocco made history by reaching the last 16 on their Women's World Cup debut after beating Colombia. Anissa Lamari scored the only goal via a rebound after captain Zelen Shebak's penalty was saved. Morocco are the only 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup debutants to win 2 matches at the tournament. They face France in Adelaide next. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.